This presentation will guide you through the color theory that you will need to know about for this assignment. A color wheel is this organized circle that has a variety of colors on it. There are many different systems of color, and after you've watched this, you will have a better idea of some of those. Sir Isaac Newton is the one who invented the color wheel that most closely resembles the one we use in class. Scientists and artists have been using color wheels for years as a way to better understand color. So for our class, the definition you want in your sketchbook is any color circle or color wheel which presents a logically arranged sequence of pure hues is considered a color wheel. The science behind how we see color is on this slide, and so basically the process is that color is an illusion, and so when you look at an object, the sun or whatever white light is available is hitting that object, bouncing off of it, and you see through your eye and your brain the colors that have reflected off of the object. So in this diagram, you see the apple, and the apple is red, and your brain tells you that you are seeing red. So light is really invisible to our eyes, but when there's a rainbow, for example, this is one time when we can actually see the colors. So this is the details of what you need to know on what I just explained, the science of color. So take a few moments to jot this down. In this class, the definition we want for color is the character of a surface that reflects a certain wavelength of light identified as red, green, blue. You see that definition at the bottom of the screen. But in terms of science, color is the visual effect that's caused by spectral composition of light emitted, transmitted, or reflected by objects. So again, color is really an illusion. If there is no light, then there is no color. So we can only perceive color through light. In art, we use a variety of color systems. The first one is an additive system, which is based on light. RGB, red, green, blue, are the primary colors of this light system. We use RGB when we're on the computer doing digital photography, animation, and things like that. Subtractive color are all of the rest. Paint and ink are subtractive color systems. And the reason they're called subtractive is because you are taking away from the light as you add paint to your canvas or your paper. So in the additive system, when you put all the primary colors together, you get white light, whereas in the subtractive system, when you put all the colors together, you get black because you're taking away from the light. There's also a system called CMYK, which has to do with ink colors. The C stands for cyan, the M for magenta, the Y for yellow, and the K for black. And these are the colors that are used in the print industry. When we paint, we use a variety of materials, and paint colors come from the earth, especially if they are the primary colors. So colors like red, yellow, and blue, which are the primary paint colors, are chemicals that come from the earth that are naturally occurring. We call this natural stuff pigment. A vehicle is what's mixed with the pigment to make it liquidy so that you can paint with it. So oil, water, and eggs are all types of vehicles that are used. More things that you need to know are on this slide. Hue is another name for color. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color. So by adding white to a color, you can make it lighter. It's called a tint. Or by adding black to a color, you can make a shade. And then there's also intensity. And intensity has more to do with how much or how little of the pigment or chroma is in that color. So it's the strength of the color, and it's often described as vivid or dull. So take a moment to jot these definitions down in your sketchbook. This is an example of intensity, and if you look closely at the slide, try to figure out which of these red squares is more intense than the other. If you look carefully, it might seem to you that either the one on the white background or the one on black seems more intense. But the reality is that they're all exactly the same red. The color that's around them reflects and causes them to be interpreted in different ways. In our system, we use this color wheel, and it's based on primary colors of red, blue, and yellow. To get secondary colors, primaries, remember, are naturally occurring and you can't mix them. To get the secondary colors, you have to mix equal amounts of the primary colors and you will get the secondary. So that's what the middle color wheel shows. And then there are those third level or intermediate levels of colors where you mix two parts of a secondary with a primary and you get colors like red orange, red violet, blue violet, yellow green, or blue green. Those are what we call intermediate colors. Jot this down in your notes, please. Color relationships. When colors are mixed together with their opposite, what we call a complementary color, they create neutrals. So for example, if you mix red and green, you get sort of a grayish brown. That would be considered a neutral. Remember that black is the absence of all light, all color, and white is all color reflected. So again, complementary colors that are opposite of each other on the color wheel. Analogous colors are colors that are next to each other. Think of them sort of as neighbors on the color wheel. And any three colors that are close to each other on the wheel are considered to be in harmony, and they're called analogous. Monochromatic is a little different from that. Monochromatic means that you take one color and you add white and black to it and you stay within that color family. That's called monochromatic. Cool colors are colors that are derived from water or ice. So colors like green, violet, and blue are considered to be cool. And they go back into space. They recede on the page. Warm colors are exactly the opposite. They're derived from the sun or from fire. So red, yellow, and orange are considered warm, and they pop out on the page. Subjective color is color that uses the artist's emotions and may not be related to realistic colors. An artist may choose to exaggerate color or change the real colors to show how they feel. Objective color is realistic color where the artist is trying to mimic reality, and so it's very true to what the artist actually saw. Please make sure you've taken notes on all of these definitions because there may be a quiz. Thank you.